Yep.
I really miss that.
I figured go ahead and get rid of him.
Now,
None of us were.
maybe if it was 30 more degrees warmer in here.
They moved it down. And they're really
And I'm gonna go home and swim.
So Bill's got a
I
package.
couldn't stay with the cows.
I knew there was one somewhere.
I was just happy. I just had so much man, it's just too bad COVID has so many things. I still be doing it today. I'm not a runner. I'm a player. I give him a I did.
Right. Forgot to tell you it's gonna be hot.
I figure that's why I left it.
I wore a t-shirt. I hope no one's offended. Because I was in here, the polo I had on was like a plastic bag. It's
How's
on.
Bill?
We've got 3 of them on.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's Friday. So taking the rest of the week off. It's just gonna rain. So
That's right.
let it. That's what it takes. Watch the pot, right?
It's your meeting.
Yeah, but Mike yelled at me once for starting a minute early. So,
Okay.
yeah.
We didn't gripe at 10 minutes after we were supposed to be out here.
Right now.
All right, I got 7.
That's what
Good
I.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Start with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May we have a roll call, please, Nancy?
Rath,
Here.
Stufflebeam,
Here.
Boggs. Okay, Fleming,
Here.
Rose.
Here.
Cruising. Here. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody's had a chance to look at the minutes. When someone is prepared, I would accept a motion.
So moved.
Motion, do I have a second, please? Motion by Chuck, a second by Dave. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I have a thank you letter tonight in correspondence. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for the scholarship money. This means a great deal to me and will be helping to pay for my schooling. I'm currently enrolled at Heartland Community College and intend to major in psychology and minor in art. My goal in life has always been to help others and spread kindness, which is something my grandma would always preach before she passed. So I plan on doing so in her honor. I cannot thank you enough for your kindness and support. It truly means the world to me. Sincerely, Faith Wheeler. Faith was the recipient of our scholarship that we sponsored through the Farmington Central Academic Foundation. And we always like to see somebody local on a very nice note, so thank you. Brings me to our first general comments tonight. Anybody? Carolyn?
Yesterday at the park, great turnout. It was a nice event. Lots of people. A lot of people came together to put it on. It was a great thing. So,
Good. Thank you. Aaron?
Just two things, real quick, is everybody remember that the virus is still going on, and some people are still acceptable, and some people don't take their shots. And anyway, but I just wanted to bring that up to everybody. I already know 5 other people that came up with this stuff. So, and I think all of them were vaccinated. Anyway, the big thing is can we take a minute for just to remember or think about all the people that actually died yesterday, not just here in Illinois, but all over the country. These are just insane son of a bitches that decide that they want to turn around and take away the freedoms that they think that they have, that take them away from other Americans. Because each and every American has the right to live, has the right to go and assemble and celebrate, our nation's history. And there was people that actually died because of that. And I think that we should at least take one moment to think about that. That'd be okay.
You take a moment to think of those who gave everything. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate your words. Anybody else? Yep, first off? Yes, Bob?
Oh, we own that restaurant down on Vernon, and our neighbor keeps complaining about the exhaust fans. She's called the police a couple of times, and the thing of those things are, we have to have them on when we turn the grills on to pull the carbon out. It's health department,
Plus, it's hotter than hell without them.
Well, yeah, and the biggest thing is, I fixed them. They were pretty bad when we bought the place. They rattled. And her name's Amber Caldwell. She lives right beside there, but I fixed them. And I asked her, I said, is this good enough? And she goes, oh yeah, that's great. She is a former employee, so I think that's part of the problem. She's disgruntled. Roger Depperman, he's owned it for 30-some years, however long. I talked to him, he said he's never had a single complaint the whole time he's owned it. There's a semi that actually parks across the street occasionally and runs all night. Now, that don't bother her. And those exhaust fans, one does have a kick into it, but the main one that we use does not. And they're no louder than a window air conditioner in somebody's private residence. So, I mean,
You guys had much?
Third shift has, he's called complaining several times on this, you guys.
What time do you open, Bob? Not till 6 or so, is it?
well, we have a couple customers, farmers, whatnot, that want to get there at 5 o'clock or so.
Wow.
But we normally open at 6. But the cook, Sonia, she turns them on when she gets there, to get the air moving and whatnot. I mean,
Well, if
I
you
don't know
don't, you
what
got
the
a
answer-
mess, so.
the whole time this lady worked for us, she never complained about them once I fixed them. I just think we got a little case of disgruntled employee.
Sounds to me like you've at least got an open line of communication.
We've tried everything we can. They're no louder than a window air conditioner. And she runs air conditioners, I'm sure. I just think, one night I went down at 7:30. Andy Stack called me. They got left on. It happens. And I went down and shut them off. It's not a big deal. But she called like at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And
I had told them on at 4 because of that.
there's just nothing we can do. I mean, we have to have them air pulling that carbon out. Carbon monoxide.
You know what? I'll come down some morning on my way in. I'll listen, see what I think.
I mean, yeah,
You know, It's all part of having a restaurant. I've been there before.
Part of living beside one too.
Yep.
I live beside a train track, you know, that's, you get used to it after a while.
All right, I will talk to these guys, and thanks for at least bringing it to our attention.
She was supposed to be here tonight to make a complaint.
All right, well, at least I got one side of the story, and I'll hear the other. Thanks, Bob.
She did say that they were fine. When I fixed them, I put new bolts so that they don't rattle and all that. And I asked her, I said, is this good enough? She goes, oh yeah, that's good. So
Well, you're trying.
I just think it's a former employee upset with us.
All right. Like I said, I'm glad to have your side of the story. I'll hear the other.
Okay.
Anybody else? All right, let's move on. Let's pay some bills. You have the list. If anybody has any questions, now is the time, or I will accept a motion to approve.
So moved.
A motion from Chuck. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Dave Rose. That is a roll call vote, please.
Raps,
Yes.
Stufflebeam,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Cruzen. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. You have in front of you what the balances of the working cash accounts are. If anybody has any questions, now is the time. But that shows all our cash on hand and our expenses for the month. The TIF report, there was no change to the TIF this month. Beginning and ending balance was $595,094.82. Brings us to the police department report. Chief, do you want to add some color to this, please?
Ordinance work is continuing. We did find a couple more problem places. We're working on those. Officer Etzinger attended a 3-day school resource officer class. New information he learned will apply for this coming school year. Myself and Officer Etzinger also met with Superintendent Dr. Chatterton from the high school for our yearly safety meeting. We covered a lot of areas that we wanted to know answers to, especially after incidences there in Texas. We also advised them we're going to be practicing school shooter drills during the rest of the summer before the school year starts. So we're ready to go. Make sure it's happening. Hopefully never. Want to make sure it's on starting things with that. And all of my full-time officers attended a 2-day street survival course, covered all the new state mandates that took effect in July. And the class also covered ambush attacks on calls and traffic stops. We were doing a lot of training with that as well. We had a couple other things I didn't put on there. Officer Rice had a baby girl.
Congratulations.
Tell your wife, congratulations.
I didn't do anything. I just keep going. That's all I did.
And the last thing is, after waiting a whole year for our new squad vehicle to get here, we did take possession of it a couple weeks ago, and I just got it back yesterday. And it is almost ready to go. It just needs to be striped out on the outside of it and get placed tomorrow for it. But it was a year delayed, so I am gonna ask to get another squad car here soon, so that we can replace 2 of their nickel and dime. We're gonna look into it a little bit more. We're trying to get a grant. Cody's working on that, pay for the majority of it. So like I told before, got a lot of new people on the council. When I get these cars, they're not paid by the taxpayers. That's the money we generate. So that way, everybody understands. We're talking about it later, but that's not their money paying for it. That's what we're doing to make sure we get our cars keep going.
Very good. Thank you, Chief. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the police department monthly report as presented.
Second.
Second from Chuck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing the new car on the street. We have no old business, so that will lead us straight into new business. Thursday night, even though it was the 5th Thursday of the month, because I can't count, we did have a CED for to talk about our TIF grants. During the meeting, we have a recommendation to the council that we do approve 5 residential redevelopment grants to Jeff McVeigh, Dorothy Keppel, Linda Kirsch, Michael McKee, Jason and Brooke Thurman. 5, 6, 7, in the sum of $8,000. We had a redevelopment eligible program from the Kramer Road LLC, and we recommended to give $1,750 to them. And everybody has this, the City of Farmington TIF District preliminary estimate for Lozier Oil Company. We would like to recommend that we have a reimbursement of 75% of the real estate taxes up to $200,000 over the life of the grant to Lozier Oil for their new building that we're putting up, and really exciting new project. And if you get a chance to talk to Marty, talk to him about it, because he'll talk your ear off about it, but I don't want to steal any of his thunder. But these are the recommendations that we make to the council to approve from the CEDC. And I'm open for any questions or a motion to approve.
I move that we accept the recommendations from the CEDC.
Motion from Chuck. Is there a second? Second from Dave Rose. That is a roll call vote, please, Nancy.
Trask,
Yes.
Stufflebeam,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Cruzen. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Next item, discussion possible action on the 2022 MFT maintenance resolution. Everybody has a copy of this, and it's just kind of words, I know. But what it is this is where we're going to fix some of our roads this summer. Dave has worked with Mauer Stutz on where we have targeted. Dave can't be here tonight. He'll be out all week having a procedure, but he did give me some notes. We're going to mill and overlay 3 streets. Central Street from South Main to South Cone, Vernon Street from South Main to South Wall, and Cedar Street from West Fort to West Fulton. So these are just 3 little sections. I wish I could tell you that they were really cheap, but they're not. Total project with engineering is $245,408. In MFT, we currently have $151,058, and we have funded the rest of this usually through the TIF. So the way that we're going to pay for these projects this year is there'll be $145,408 coming from MFT and $100,000 coming out of the TIF. These are probably as good a TIF funds as I can possibly think of, because we're fixing roads. And if we fix a couple of roads every year, one of these days, maybe we'll get them all done. So as long as we pass this tonight, it will get into the June letting, or excuse me, the July letting, and we can probably get this done before September. So I would be interested in a motion or any questions on the 2022 MFT program.
I move that we accept the resolution for the MFT program.
Thank you, Chuck. Do I have a second, please? Thank you, Jenny. So I have a motion and a second on the 2022 MFT maintenance programs. That is a roll call vote, please.
Trask,
Yes.
Stufflebeam,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Cruzen. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. We will get with George Merkel and we will get this bidding underway so that we can get 3 nice little stretches of road. And I don't know if anybody's driven some of them, but hang on to your teeth. Next item is a discussion possible action on ordinance 2022-15. It's amending Title II Boards and Commissions. And what this does is it adds a 4th person non-voting member to the cemetery. And I would accept the motion to read 2022-15 by title only.
So
I have a motion and a second. That's a roll call, please, Nancy. Motion from Nathan, second from Chuck.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Fleming,
yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Cruzen. Yes. Trask,
Yes.
Stufflebeam.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, City of Farmington, ordinance number 2022-15, and an ordinance amending Title II, Boards and Commissions, Chapter 3, Board of Cemetery Managers. That is your first reading of ordinance 2022-15.
Motion to waive the second reading of ordinance 2022-15.
Thank you, Nate. Do I have a second? Second by Dave Rose. That is a roll call, please.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Cruzen. Yes. Rask,
Yes.
Stefan.
Yes.
Motion to approve ordinance number 2022-15.
I have a motion for adoption of ordinance 22-15. Second, please. Second by Cruzen. That is a roll call, please.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Cruzen. Yes. Rask,
Yes.
Stefan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Which leads me to the next one is a discussion possible action of a mayoral appointment to the cemetery board. And I would like to appoint Herb Stufflebeam to the cemetery board as a non-voting member. We all heard his presentation, or most of us heard his presentation last week. He has a real passion for this. Yes, there's nepotism. We're a small town. But with your permission, I would like to name Herb to the cemetery board. Need a motion.
So moved.
Motion from Dave. I need a second.
Second.
From Chuck. And a roll call, please.
Rose,
Stumped.
Cruzen. Yes. Rask,
Yes.
Stefan, you abstain?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay. Fleming,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, folks. Which leads us to the final piece of new business and our new dad, and I know he's old hat at this. But Cody, could you please walk us through 2025? Yeah, I'm going, Cody, do your thing. I'm going to shut up.
Chief, you want to start with anything?
Yeah.
before we jump into it?
As most of you guys know, probably last year and the year before, a lot of the laws have changed in Illinois. Now they are pushing these body cameras in 2025. I want to get them now. I don't want to wait, because what they're wanting to do, and we're trying to hope that we can get it worked out, is they're trying to punish officers by not properly using them. So I want to make sure that we've worked all the bugs out. I don't want to be the last ones in the party. These have to be bought. There's not a choice in the matter. There is a big grant that they're paying for everything, correct? But we have to have them bought and installed and receipts by September, whenever Cody fills out the rest of the paperwork for that grant. That grant is through the Illinois Training Standards Board, and their goal is to get everybody into it, and this is the time to jump on it right now if we can. I have an installer that's going to install all the in-car cameras. The one that's got put in the new truck, I'm gonna leave it as it is. You have to bill for it, so you can submit that as part of the payment as well. But I'm asking for 7 body cameras. It can be 1 for every full-time officer, 1 for a part-time officer, or if we break one, we can get another. We have one there, because if you guys know cops, sometimes break stuff. And we're tough on things, just the nature of the beast. But, it sounds like everything is good. Cody's done a lot of research on it. I'm also sending the grant writing class as well, so we can start taking advantage of the experience that are starting to come out. And I think it's gonna be, we went through several different companies, and this one is probably the best by far. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't the most expensive. I think it's middle of the road. It definitely is a lot cheaper than WatchGuard or Axon, which is very popular, but this also is digital hours. And one of my buddies from the sheriff's office has had the same camera in his car for what, 8 years now. That thing's never broke. So I think, and just from my experience with WatchGuard, I've had issues with it in the old truck. We still have issues we're getting ready to send off. I have not heard anybody that has this digital hours having an issue with it. And if you do have a problem, that guy spent over an hour with us on the phone. And he was very detailed, and he told us, if you need anything, let us know. We also have 2 body cameras that sent down to us that we are some of the guys are testing, trying to get it figured out, trying to see what they like. The different attachments, they have different ones. Some of them are metal, or not metal, but magnetic. And you're trying to see how strong those are. 'Cause if you're fighting somebody and it goes flying, body cameras on the ground, I don't think that's going to be an issue. And we also have guys that have the outer carriers with all the molly. There's a clip that fits right in there. And you can't rip that thing off the clip. You really have to work it off there. You have to know how to take it off pretty much. So, other than that, I think Cody's he spent a lot more time on this part here, so I'll let him cover the next.
No, except I can go through the details of everything. So for the grant, it's through the Illinois Law Enforcement Training Standards Board, so that's who all of our training and everything goes through, all of our mandates. So based on all the information I've collected and speaking to other departments who have received this grant in the past, Glasser being one of them, they're a small town, they only had a couple of them to get, but they said as long as you have everything filled out and accurate to what you have in time, you should receive the grant. And also, we want to apply for the grant early because part of the stipulation of the grant is if the money's there. So I mean, if we apply late because the last round we missed because it ended June 30th, so it should go roughly from September to June of next year. So if we apply in April, there might not be enough money for us to get all of our stuff. If we're one of the first ones to get it, then we'll have plenty of money and we'll be good. So a couple things that kind of give you guys an idea. Like Chief said, I'm going to a grant writing class for other grants as well. This one doesn't really apply for that, but that'll help with the grant for the car and other things we want to get, basically free money for out of training. As of 2019, 70 Illinois law enforcement agencies have body worn systems. There's roughly 870 agencies in Illinois. So right now, everyone's going for the grant. Will be for the next 5 years, probably. So if we don't get on it early, we may not get it ever, because everyone has to have it. And that's why we want to get ahead of it, because we have to have it at 25. But if we wait to that point, these companies know that they're smart. They're going to jack up the price. They're like, well, these little guys need them right now, so let's double their price just because we can. And there's literally nothing we can do about it. So I spoke with 5 different companies: Motorola, Reveal, Safely, Axon, and Digital Alley. So Digital Alley is the one that we ended up going with. So I mean, I can go through all the boring stuff and what they do and stuff, but basically 7 cameras, 4 for the car. I can show you on this. So this was one of the mounting systems. Little thing goes in a pocket or on your shirt. It's a magnet. It's a pain to get off if you don't have it attached to something. So kind of shows you it's a pretty strong magnet. I mean, I'm struggling. I'm not weak. So there's that. And since I have it on here already, I'll show you. So this is my outer carrier vest. One I use day to day. So that's the camera right there. And it blends right in. Nothing crazy. I'll step out here. So you can see. Comes off super simple. This little guy. That's all it is right here. 2 cameras front and back. Turn it on. Right button, right? So it vibrates. Shows a little Digital Alley symbol, tells you it's on. And the screen's perfect for, I mean, it honestly feels like an old school flip phone, is what it feels like. Yes, sir.
There's no way that it can accidentally, per se, be shut off. Say,
No, it would make a noise, you would know for sure. So there's honestly no, because I mean, you heard the beep there, that's it turning off. I mean, it makes sure, so when you're recording, so it's hard to see the display, but that's the display. And most of the time, it'll just be like this. And it's got different modes for covert, so the lights don't turn on if we're going into a building. We're trying to find someone, they don't see us. To turn it on, red button, super loud. You know you're recording. There's no chance of it. Right now it's in, not covert mode, so light's blinking. It says it's recording. So right now it's recording all. Okay. Do it again. I've got it set for, I believe, 30-second pre and post event. So it was recording that little bit before I was talking, looking at you guys. Hit the button one more time.
roughly 30-second post-event. I think I may have changed it to 15 just while I was messing with it. So right now it's still recording, but it knows it's done. So after that time limit stops, it'll beep at me and say it's done recording. Again, pops off. There you go, turns off. So covert mode, so right now, screen's off, but if I'm in a dark alley or something, if this light is, we did some tests up here where it's super dark. Basically, anyone with, if they've got a gun, they're gonna take that shot because it's very bright. So you can do videos, you can tag, again, I know it's hard for you to see this, but right here it says select age, gender, ethnicity, race, event tag, reference ID, so that basically we can, if we're dealing with Dorian, white male, 30s, domestic, whatever, RD number, this, whatever it may be. On that. Playback will only be allowed for each officer on their camera, but we have a, it's called evidence management, where basically the evidence technician, which is myself, and chief will be the only ones that can look at cameras. Because there's also a mandate that based on certain circumstances, you can't go back and look at your camera. Use of force, blanking on the other one, but that's the main one. If you have a use of force incident, you're not allowed to go back and look at your camera until you do your report. And that's all based off of the state. You can take pictures with it. So you got a scene, take a picture of it. There, we took a picture of it. Audio recording. Like I said, you can go back, play back on your video, your audio, your phone. That has a function called video intercom. I don't have a second one to show you right now, but essentially if we have someone who takes off on us, we see the guy, so Dorian takes off on me, I call chief, hey, go get that guy. He can FaceTime me on this essentially. He's like, hey, is this your guy? I'm like, yeah, put him on. So like I said, super loud, you know it's gonna be recording. Again, you can set it to where it's covert mode where they're not gonna know it's recording. But obviously that's only if we're getting ready to go into a building. So it's not making noise on us. And I mean, it's super slim. My taser sticks out farther than this thing. It's got a great view based on where, depending on where you have it. And this clip, super nice. Flipped out, comes right out, slips right in the molly. Usually go out of it. So, like I said, there's a lot more I can show on it, but I mean, that's a little.
Do they upload automatically, Cody, or do
Yes.
you have to?
Yeah, so with the evidence management, it will be. So the evidence management, it will automatically upload. It has the capability to do that. I think we're going to go where when you're done with your shift, you go into the evidence management, you download your stuff. That way you can add your tags, or if you need to attach to a report or something like that. And that's all cloud-based. Right now, that has a storage of just shy of 200 gigabytes. So I mean, if you forget for 3 days for some reason, upload your camera and stuff, plenty of storage. And there's always a data trail. So if someone were to delete something, whether because they were allowed to or on accident, there's always a data trail. All right, it was recorded this day, so-and-so deleted it, and it's not going to show the video anymore, but for whatever reason, if we need it to record, like, yeah, so-and-so messed up and deleted it. So, obviously, hopefully we don't have that issue, but it at least keeps track of if someone messed up, we have that recording of, yeah, this guy messed up, this is what happened.
Does that attach to your camera in the car?
Yeah, so the car system, same company, will connect with that. So it has a sync feature. So if you turn on, we can set it to lights, sirens, speed. We can set it to different things where once we turn our lights on, the body camera turns on and so does the car camera. And they will sync up. And you'll be able to, basically it'll, based off the time and your reference number, they'll save together when you download. You'll be able to do it.
But your car's gonna record what
Yeah, it'll be a different.
it sees in
yeah,
the car, not.
exactly. So I'm sure you guys have seen the body camera footage on Facebook and stuff. So it'll show like car camera when they pull someone up, and then when they get out of the car and get up to the person, it'll basically be like that. We can edit it in terms of of making that easier to condense. If we want to send it to the state's attorney or something, make it easier so they're not watching someone sit in the car for 10 minutes, watching someone or whatever. And that in-car system is controlled by a tablet that is provided for us. And I asked them before, like, is there any way we can just not use the tablet? Like, no, it comes with it no matter what. But it's basically all cloud-based. We can, if we want to turn our lights on or our camera on from it, we just press a button on the tablet, it turns on. And again, it's obvious that it's on. There's lights and stuff going on. Or if we needed to, we could run it through our actual computers that are already in the cars. So, I mean, they make it pretty user-friendly. Automatic updates, so like I said, all cloud-based. So if anything new needs to be put into that camera from the company, automatically does it. We don't have to buy new hardware or get a stick and upload a bunch of stuff. It automatically does it by itself whenever they do stuff.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm so new, I'm like, can I raise my
No,
hand?
you're fine.
So when your officer exits the vehicle, when you're making a stop, will you turn your body camera on every single time you exit your vehicle?
Anytime, based on the mandate, anytime you are doing, I'm blanking on the actual wording they used. I think I have it. Anytime you are doing police action, you have to, after 25, you're required to turn it on. So obviously right now I'm on, I think I'm the only one using it right now. I'm telling people, hey, just leave it on, body camera's on. Because obviously since it's not linked with our current cameras, they don't match up. So I'll put my lights on and then I'll hit the button. There's been times I forgot, I go talk to someone, I don't get it. But yeah, if we haven't set up policies yet, we're working on that. That'll be something Chief does, where every time you're doing a police action, you're enforcing the law, you're talking to someone for a investigation or crime path or whatever, the body camera has to be on. Now, if we're just over
What
at
happens
Casey's,
if somebody says, shut that off?
there is a right for certain people to request that, and we can note that. But based on the mandate of having the body cameras, if a private citizen requests that it's off, we have to turn it off unless we have reasonable, articulable suspicion to leave it on. And if we feel that we need to leave it on, then we're allowed to. Now, yeah, obviously, if some guy we know is doing something he's not supposed to, and he doesn't want to be recorded because he's talking about that, then we can't do nothing about it. We have to keep it on. Yeah, if we're just filing a complaint or whatever, then they ask us to turn it off and we can turn it on.
Is there any real-time viewing or just recorded and view it later?
What we're doing is record it and view it later. You have the capability when you're done, take it off, take a look at it and see what's going on. You can't do anything at all. You can't edit it, you can't redact stuff. And there is capability to, they call it streaming, but essentially chief or the sergeant would be able to see live view. That's another thing you have to pay for, and we didn't really think that was something we needed. Because more times than not, we would just call chief like, hey, this is what I got, I'm over here. So we're lucky with that. Obviously, bigger departments would probably have to have that function so they can see what's going on. But yeah, there is a capability for it. Like I said, that's probably not something we necessarily need. It saves us a little bit of money.
If it's something you guys want us to have,
Yeah.
we can add that to the quote.
Yeah.
And get it bought. Also, on the body cameras, if the battery runs low, it still does not stop recording. You still got 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yes.
So you got 5 minutes to finish up, get another battery in there. And usually nothing's getting low, go change it, but at least you're gonna get 5 minutes. Generally, your body, you'll have another battery with you anyway.
And if anyone wants, I can go into more details of what the cameras can do and all that stuff. Main thing is that we're gonna need them in 5 years, not 5 years, 3 years. We're gonna need them in 3 years. They're only gonna cost more. And this company will bundle, so it saves us a little bit of money. They bundle 4 in-car cameras with 4 body cameras in terms of the price. They all will still work with, so I mean, if chief hops in my vehicle for whatever reason, it'll still work. It's not like if you have to piece it all together. So yeah, so that helps us in price. have a 5-year warranty. So anytime during that, they will replace a camera if it breaks or whatever, mess it up at no cost. Like I said, I can go through. Yeah, after 5 years, they essentially replace all the cameras for free. It's part of a contract where every so often they will toss a new camera and update it. Because they're always changing things, they tweak things, so it'll just, after the 5 years, we'll all get new cameras and it'll keep going as long as you keep that contract going. Kind of like with your cell phone. Get a new cell phone, sign a 2-year contract, whatever. So the way they do their payments, it's the fun part, the money part. The way they do their payments is you can either do a full lump sum for the 5 years, or you can make a split payment for 5 years. So for the first year, if we were to split it up, the payment would be $11,044 each. And that's for 4 in-car cameras and 7 total body cameras. And then on this one, he included that magnetic mount, 7 of those. And that's $420 that we can take off if we don't use magnetic mounts. Because the alligator clip mount is pretty nice. So we can split it up, and then after the first year, it's $10,404 each year after that, up to 5 years. But if we want to do the 5-year total, it is $52,660. Like I said, I know it's a lot. We kind of were like, oh crap, but it's like I said, it wasn't the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive.
Is there a cheaper purchase price if we pay it forward?
If the only way we're gonna get this grant, I believe, is paying.
That's why I was gonna ask is
I
how
don't think you're
the
gonna
grant
get grants for paying for over 5 years.
Well, we're gonna get a grant for $11,000 is what they're gonna
Yeah,
get.
essentially, yeah, if that's what we're gonna do.
Better off to just do the whole 52 and get it done and over with. That way we don't run into the, the state doesn't have money magically, it happens every so often. And then they won't have that grant, and now we're stuck paying $10,000 that we didn't have. And if we just would have went through and paid it all, we could not worry about it.
But is there a grant for that 52,000?
The one that we're doing.
If
Yeah,
you apply.
the ILSP grant for the Law Enforcement Training Board. Yeah, so like I said, with that grant, based off what I was told from previous recipients and based off reading all the paperwork, as long as we have the paperwork in, it's all correct, and there's money, we'll get it. Because that's basically why they did the grant, is to help out smaller departments with the mandate that they made 2 years ago. Just to give you an idea, Axon, everyone knows Axon, maybe not everyone. Most people know Axon in the law enforcement business. Just for 7 cameras, just the body cameras, their total was $35,000. So that's without in-car cameras, which we just more expensive ones. And that's just one of the other 4 that we looked at for pricing. So Axon was definitely more expensive. There was another one that was, I believe, $20,000 for all the cameras, but it honestly was like cheaply made. Camera quality wasn't very good. Picture quality wasn't very good. So that's why we went with Digital Alley.
Is this the best fit for our officers in our department?
I think so. Like
That's
I
all
said,
I needed to know.
I've been using it. Obviously, I haven't the past couple of days. Been a little busy.
Your wife would have loved that.
For the couple of days I used it, very user friendly. Me and another officer, we went upstairs here in the building where it's super dark to see how everything works in the dark. So that's infrared.
You didn't have it when the baby came, did you? No, okay.
So it's got a really good infrared system. As soon as it gets to a point, it senses that it needs to turn the infrared on, it automatically does. You don't have to press a button, it does it for you. Like I said, we played with the display a little bit to try to dim the light. Eventually, it was like, well, we can't sleep. Where after 15 seconds, it goes to sleep, but it still records that entire time. Yeah, based off of all the research I've done, because I couldn't tell you how many hours I've been dealing with this. This seems to be the best fit because before we had the meeting with Digital Alley, I was telling Chief that unfortunately Axon was probably our best bet, even though they were so expensive. And then we met with this guy and tried them out, and these are definitely the clear winner of all of them that I've talked to.
Appreciate all you've done.
Like I said, if anyone wants more information, there's more specifics on how the camera works, size, all this stuff, got all the data sheets and all the other stuff if need be. Same thing with the in-car cameras. Obviously, I can't demo one of those.
I presume if you were to order this with council approval, we need to pay these folks for the product, and then we're gonna wait for the grant money.
Yes.
It should come, if it's opened up in September, they'll start filtering that pretty quick. I imagine by November, you should see your money back.
I would hope.
Yeah, I would hope so too.
Okay.
I don't trust too much in the reimburse on time and everybody else, but I think we will, because this is very important to the online training.
Well, I don't think you wanna wait until you know you've got the grant, do you?
Yeah, because then they won't.
Because the price is gonna go up.
Exactly. And that's part of the stipulations in there. We don't have to worry about paying for the storage part, because there does have some in the grant where if there's a server based or whatever, they will pay for that. But they don't pay for subscriptions, and it has to be installed for either installed or planned to be installed, is what they say on the paperwork. And honestly, I believe that if you've got one department that's already got them installed, someone planning to install, they're going to give the money to the person that's already installed a lot faster. Because then they're already ahead of the game and they're following the mandate.
Thank you very much for all that you've done. Questions, comments, concerns? Are we interested in backing our police this way?
Yeah.
I was impressed just reading the specifications. For someone who deals with cameras, this is a solid camera. So I'm really surprised that you're saying it's maybe the most affordable one. So,
Yeah, they told me that because they had dealt with digital alley in the past, and I was like, I don't know, some of the other cameras are pretty nice. And then I started using it and looking at just on that tiny display, the quality of what you can see, and I was amazed by it.
If we would like to continue with this, I would certainly entertain a motion. We are going to have to front the money, but know that we're going to have to get it. Right now, we do have the money.
Okay, I move that we accept the recommendation for cameras for the police department.
Thank you, Chuck. Who was second for Dave Rose? Motion by Chuck, second by Dave Rose to accept Farmington PD police camera proposal. That is a roll call, please.
Trask,
Yes.
Stufflebeam,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Pearson.
yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let us know what we need to, what we do. Probably just write you a check.
Great work, great research.
But thank you for very complete research. And now it's time for me to read this thing to you. Declaration of local state of emergency, state of Illinois, counties of Fulton and Peoria, city of Farmington, pursuant to the authority vested in the office of the mayor by the Illinois Municipal Code sections 5/11-1-6, the Illinois Emergency Management Agency Act, section 3305/11, and ordinance 2020-06 of the city of Farmington. I, Kent Kowal, mayor of city of Farmington, do hereby declare that the local state of emergency exists as of this date, April 22nd, 2020, and shall continue until such a time as provided in ordinance 2020-06. The nature of the emergency is a nationwide pandemic of the COVID-19 virus. Let's do committee reports. Dave Rose, do you have anything this evening? Thank you. Joey is not here. I do not have anything sewer-wise. Nate, do you have anything on street sidewalks and garbage?
Nothing bad.
Thank you. And Jenny, how about Parks
I
Rec?
have a bit, I'll go really quick. I took this up to all the people that do the softball, baseball, and they said that they would be ecstatic to get the cheaper one, that they just want something that he's for. After the last meeting, they came up to me and said that he did not want volunteers to paint, and I said, well, then can you go paint? And he said it doesn't need painted, and I went up and took pictures of badly needs painted the pavilion, it's just shipping off everywhere, so I don't know how we resolve that. The volunteers are still ready to do it, if we will allow them to, but I didn't know who makes that decision.
You wanna just go buy them some paint?
Tell me when they want the paint.
Okay, I'll give them a call tomorrow, because yes, I was told volunteers don't paint.
You're gonna be
Secondly,
the
while I was
head.
out there, the air conditioning unit in the concession stand no longer does anything but low room air, so they are requesting a new one, please.
Is it just a window unit?
Yes, and it's just a small one.
It shouldn't be that old.
It's still pushed back.
Okay.
I would actually go to one, but we might have taken the one from mine. It's gonna take a little framing and I end up with some extra ones from my house, so. I would donate one, I would throw it in up there, but it's gonna require framing in because that's a much larger.
Can Cody do that?
I can go up and do it. Yes.
We'll
We'll
make
take
it
care of
happen.
Okay.
Thank you,
And
Dave.
lastly, a couple of people who have side-by-side ATV permits. They brought it to my attention that, as we know, the only ATV side-by-side trail is from Jacobs Park. That's the only way you get to the school, or the grocery store, because they can't have them on the road. They said that there are several spots that have eroded, like big dips, almost to the point where it's dangerous. One person in particular wanted to know if the $25 they paid a year is part of the money that they paid to get that permit, and please go to patching the holes on the trail.
I'll send somebody out, and if we got a hole, we'll bring some dirt in.
All right, I think that's
Mhm.
all they
Talk to
wanted.
Scotty tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
You also want to report there were 47 children at the rec program today.
Oh.
And that's way down because it was so hot.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's been-
it's miserable
It's been
today.
more than double.
Yeah.
With the heat. So yeah, it was way down today.
It was, but I was still surprised as hot as it was. We had a lot of kids up there.
It's always been popular.
Great. All right. Last general comments section. Yes, Aaron?
First thing, when you do that, you're a way better mayor than the last guy that you made the mistake to say. that you-
We're not going to disparage
So
anybody.
we need to change that.
But the ordinance was approved under him, not me.
Okay,
So,
still, I hate hearing that name. Okay, number 2 is, I am so proud that I'm watching everything evolve so much. The things that I've seen over the years and I brought up and things that are changing, you know. But Vernon Street, I'm telling you, I'm really proud about that because for years I turned around and wanted something done about Vernon Street. And now you might think that it's just a little road, but the people that do that little road are people like me. And that's how we do our living. And we appreciate it, believe it or not. I know that it costs us a lot of money as taxpayers and citizens, but people like me still appreciate that, Mr. Mayor. And the last thing that I got to bring up, because I know this is inside our paperwork tonight, it still hasn't been brought up. We still got that city lighting ordinance. And I would like that brought up.
and in 2 weeks, we are going to meet at 6:30 to talk about the rewrites.
Okay, I very much appreciate that, sir, but I thought that, something would have been mentioned inside here and I didn't see it.
Well,
I had to bring it up.
Not everybody could be here at this meeting. It turns out most of us were here, so we scheduled it for 2 weeks from this tonight
That's
at
fine.
6:30.
I just wanted to mention that when I didn't see it.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else? If that's the case, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, folks. Really appreciate your time
Your
tonight.
5 minutes, Mr. Rose, get going.
Can I?